now adjourn. I call the member for Griffith.
Thanks very much, Speaker. I was entertained then by the member for Bonner's presentation on broadband and his electorate, for the simple reason that between 1996 and 2007, the previous Howard government had 16 separate plans on broadband and did not one jot of work in all of metropolitan Brisbane. And secondly, he talks about a 10% rollout in his electorate. That's 10% more than that be delivered under the coalition's so-called broadband plan. I think the member for Bonner had better look long and hard at the precise implications for the policy enunciated by the very articulate member for Wentworth. For my own electorate on Brisbane's south side, broadband is indeed important. Everywhere I go and do mobile offices in the electorate, this is the one thing which comes up constantly. People running small businesses from home demanding more speed, more reliable speed, because that's the path of the future. It also will improve telecommuting, it will improve telemedicine, it will also improve digital education, and also your ability to run businesses from home. It's universal across our community. In a recent community survey, 89% of respondents felt that their household would benefit from faster, more reliable broadband. 87% of respondents felt that their fibre connection should be provided direct to all households. I've not seen any similar surveys from the Liberal National Party on their broad policy. Perhaps the questions on a survey which the member for Bonner and the Mr Abbott's handpicked candidate in the electorate of Griffith could roll out these questions. Number one, do you support the Liberal National Party's policy of slower internet connections? Number two, do you support the Liberal National Party's policy of making you pay up to $5,000 to have fibre connected to your home? Number three, do you support the Liberal National Party's policy of spending 3/4 the money of the government's National Broadband Network program for 1/4 of the speed? And number four, as people say in my own district, well, why on earth would the Liberal National Party policy allow people on Brisbane's south side to be last in line for any form of internet upgrade? So if you ask the Leader of the Opposition, the alternative Prime Minister of the country, my good friend the member for Bonner over there, and Mr Abbott's hand-picked candidate in the federal electorate of Griffith, Mr Glasson, if you ask them, their answer to these four questions on the Liberal National Party survey would be yes, 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 yes. So we want slower internet connections. We want everyone to pay $5,000 to have it connected to their home. And if you happen to live in suburbs like Coorparoo, full of high-rise developments, there's bizarre policy of wanting 75% of all the occupants of the high-rise to reach an agreement through the body corporate before the connection occurs. When I explain that to the good burghers of Coorparoo and elsewhere in my electorate, they think your policy is stark raving mad. Now, the opposition's policy has been described as the opposition's NBN, the Liberal National Party's broadband. It is not broadband, Speaker, it is fraudband with a capital F. Hashtag fraudband. It's not just a Twitter hashtag. Fraudband actually is a clinical description of the opposition's policy. The National Broadband Network Company, NBN Co, has recently updated its 3-year plan for the period 13-16, which will involve fibre construction starting progressively to 30 June 2016 to all homes, businesses, schools and hospitals in the Federal Division of Griffith. I'm very happy to advise the House that by June 2016, NBN Co will have commenced or completed construction for connection of 77,300 homes and businesses on the south side to the National Broadband Network. Nationally, there'll be some 6 million premises connected. I'm here with my good friend, the member for Bass. There's a rollout occurring in his electorate as well. And it is actually revolutionising the way in which people do business. Absolutely. This is also important for the schools in my electorate. Some 7,365 computers have been provided to Southside schools thanks to the Australian Government's program of putting computers into high schools. These will now all be connected to the National Broadband Network, but under Fraudband they don't have any possibility of connection whatsoever. Take, for example, what happens with our local hospitals, the Mater Hospital, the PA Hospital. What's their ability through the local Medicare locals as well as local GPs to put electronic health records across the country, across the state? If people get sick, if you're not connected to high-speed broadband, you can't actually do that. So what I'd say, Speaker, is those opposite, whether it's the member for Ryan, the absent member for Brisbane or the member for Bonner, for you to stand up in this parliament on behalf of any resident of the City of Brisbane and say convincingly that Fraudband represents a viable outcome for your constituents is fraudulent in itself. We stand for a high-speed broadband, a broadband with sufficient bandwidth to make a real difference for people's future.